When everything is going up at the same time, it's very hard to figure out what's actually good and what's just hype. Now the hype token might not just be hyped. Hyperliquid is the fastest growing decentralized finance protocol for a good reason. Have a look at this overview here. This is decentralized finance protocols. Hype has a market cap of 16 billion and it's almost 3 times the size of Uniswap, which is the largest spot exchange across various blockchains. Hyperliquid is its own blockchain. Chainlink is an oracle. It's something completely different. And above that, we only have different forms of Ethereum. So really, Hyperliquid is now owning the decentralized finance space. And yes, the valuation might be quite high, but probably that's justified. Have a look at this. Uniswap's total value locked is at roughly 6 billion. Hyperliquid's total value locked is at roughly 2 billion. It's 3 times as expensive in terms of market cap, but it's only got 1/3 of the TVL. So it seems like people are willing to pay a massive premium for the Hype token over Uniswap, just because of this adoption chart, just because there's continued growth. Hyperliquid is in a growth phase. Uniswap is not anymore. Uniswap is now matured. Now, why are people willing to pay so high prices for the Hype token? The answer is not just growth, it's in general a change of the crypto ecosystem. In the past, a lot of people just bought spot. But now, with perpetual futures, with bets on the price, there tends to be less trading fees involved, especially for very active traders. It's very cheap leverage. We can bet on rising prices and on falling prices. And we don't have these very expensive fees of getting in and out that we do have with the spot market. Just have a look at how the perpetual futures market as a whole grew. This is the trading volume on the perp in decentralized finance. And we just see very massive adoption over the years. And now have a look at how much of this is Hyperliquid. You might have guessed it, Hyperliquid is the area in blue. It outgrew the competition massively. It's a dominating force in a rapidly growing market. That's why people are willing to pay that much for Hype. And so that then poses the big question. If we're already in a growing market and Hyperliquid is that expensive, how much more growth is there really? I think there's quite a bit, because when we look at where is the growth coming from, it's mainly from taking over market share from the centralized exchanges, like Binance, for example. What we see here is the perpetual futures trading volume of Binance, that's in yellow, and of Hyperliquid, that's in turquoise. And we can see that over time, Hyperliquid is taking more and more market share, but it's still, quote unquote, only at 16%. There's still a multiple in terms of growth, relatively speaking. If Binance loses more market share and Hyperliquid takes that market share, then this graph will continue to grow. Now then we have to ask ourselves, right, where would the price go from here? Because price development is not just a matter of demand, it's not just a matter of how much is the DeFi protocol used, it's also a matter of supply and tokenomics. How quickly does the supply grow? Is the usage of the platform growing to grow faster than the supply? That's the big question. Because only if the demand grows faster than the supply, then the price will outperform the rest of the market. Now have a look at this chart. This is the Hype token relative to the others market cap. So it looks at how much is the Hyperliquid token outperforming the general small altcoin market. And since the launch in December of last year to today, we saw Hyperliquid outperform by 417%. And there has been quite a bit of stagnation recently. Unfortunately, we are at the higher end of the recent trading range. But this could be an opportunity, because once we get above those technical resistances, then maybe another phase of price discovery will start yet one more time. Very similar to what we saw in May of this year, where subsequently Hype outperformed the rest of the altcoin market by 80%. And so here's the potential problem with Hyperliquid. It's the expanding token supply. We currently have 373 million Hype tokens in circulation, and this can expand up to 1 billion Hype tokens. Now, the Hype token is not just bought as a speculation on growing use of the platform. There's actually a real incentive to buy the token. When you buy the token and you stake it, you get a discount of the trading fees. So for 10 staked Hype, there is a discount of 5%. For 100 staked Hype, there's a discount of 10%, etc. So as people trade more and more on the platform, there's more and more incentive to buy the Hype token on the spot market and stake it and lock it up, and thus push up the price. And so here's how the usage of the platform is developing over time. This is the total trading volume per day. We're now getting close to 30 billion. Here's the open interest, so the amounts of bets on various cryptocurrencies. That's currently close to 15 billion. Again, it continues rising very steadily. Here's the annualized funding rate. It stabilizes further and further, showing that there's sufficient liquidity on the platform and sufficient amounts of arbitrage bots that keep funding rates stable, make it more attractive for people to speculate on Hyperliquid. And of course, with increased use of the platform, the number of liquidations is also going up. This is how the platform partially makes profit as well. Of course, the majority of people lose on the platform. This is to be expected because there are trading fees, and this is 100% a player versus player game. So in order to make money by trading on Hyperliquid, we have to be better than the average trader, whatever that means, right? There's different strategies to try to be better, but the expected value for the entire platform is of course losing. It's a bit like with playing poker. There are a few poker players that make money long-term in the game, but the overall player pool of course loses because over time there's a fee that goes to the casino. Very similar to what's happening here with Hyperliquid. Crypto is a player versus player game. There's some luck involved, but there's also some skill involved. And if the skill does not exceed the fees that have to be paid, then you end up becoming a loser. So it's not easy. It's not a zero-sum game. It's actually a negative-sum game to trade on the platform. But of course, as this is going down, this is great for the Hyperliquid platform itself. Here's another expression, how the platform has matured and how it becomes more and more useful to the average trader. Because the slippage has come down massively. And that means when big US dollar amounts are moved on the platform, the price doesn't move too much against the individual trader. So that makes it more attractive to trade on the platform. It's just cheaper. Here's the number of daily unique traders. This is also going up. I personally also like to use Hyperliquid. I use it every single day. If you want to use it as well, there is a link in the video description as well. Just click on that and you will automatically get a 5% reduction on the trading fees as well. So yeah, the number of users is going up. The trading activity is going up. The capital on the blockchain is going up because Hyperliquid is not just a protocol, it's its own dedicated blockchain. And I believe there's a very good chance that more of the market share from the centralized exchanges will end up in Hyperliquid. Thus, I do think that Hyperliquid will continue to grow and probably it will outgrow the token supply. The token supply is also going up, but the growth of the platform is likely going to go up even further and more Hyperliquid will be staked, thus reducing the circulating supply in that regard. I am not too bullish on too many altcoins. For most altcoins, I rather short them. I rather bet on falling prices. But the Hype token is an exception. Hype is not cheap. It's at 15 billions. It's more than Uniswap, but still it's where all the growth right now in crypto is. Perpetual futures are here to stay. Perpetual futures are an extremely efficient way for short-term speculation. And Hyperliquid is absolutely dominating this market in decentralized finance. Now, if you've watched a few videos on this channel already, you might see that I approach crypto quite differently to most others. Most others just try to find the next meme coin that does the 10 or the 100x return. But more often than not, those kind of bets just go to zero. I do the exact opposite. I bet on falling prices of the crappy altcoins. And I started trading for this community on the 10th of July. And so far, things are developing very, very nicely. The annualized performance is 79%, while the maximum drawdown was only 2.3%. So this is the exact opposite of buying a meme coin, where you're losing most of the time and you're hoping for this one lucky moonshot. When I look at other people here on YouTube, I don't really see them being that open, as that they show directly what performance they are doing versus the market in real time. And I also don't see them just trading for the community, because it's not that easy to walk the walk, right? Most people just talk the talk. It's easy. Words are cheap, but performance is actually what matters. What I like most about this performance is that we started trading over here and Bitcoin went up and down and up and down. We already had our 12% corrections, and at the same time, the capital pool simply constantly appreciated, with again very little volatility. And so this is how most people get burnt in crypto, right? They see a meme coin, for example, how it's going up, and they're wondering how much higher can it go. So for example, this here, Bonk, right? Bonk shoots up. People consider, hey, should I maybe buy? They might be buying over here, and then things turn out positive short term, but then the exit is never found. Then the asset just continues to get held over time, and then prices crash further and further. And then as we settle at a lower price, that's when most people sell. Another rally follows. The hope is that bonk reaches similar heights to the prior heights, and again, it doesn't work out. The issue really is that those exit points are much harder to find than the entry points. Prices tend to be low for a longer time than they tend to be high. Those exits are just very brief moments in time. It's the same with everything, right? It's also with Fartcoin, as in the exit is the hard thing. The entry is okay. Buying when nobody is looking is somewhat possible. But selling when we peak in the price just for a few days, that's really what gets wrecked most people. Most people don't exit on time and then just see the price coming back down. The effect is of course the strongest with the meme coins. Right here we've got Dogecoin, the same thing. Things go up quickly. There's a few days where it might make sense to sell, and then if those days are missed, the opportunity of selling is gone again. I try to approach the market very differently. I try to look at what are most altcoins actually doing long term, especially the altcoins that have very high token inflation, where more and more tokens hit the market because the insiders want to sell, because the venture capitalists, they get now token unlocks. They are selling constantly and they depress certain altcoins long term. And I'm simply just betting on those altcoins continuing to do worse compared to the rest of the market. And that's how I make this long-term outperformance, and especially outperformance that's independent of the general market environment. This is one of my favorite websites. It's Tokenomics.ai. It lists various altcoins with their token unlock. And let's have a look, for example, at Fetch.ai. It went crashing and burning, and it's close to an all-time low relative to Ethereum. And the reason is, of course, token unlocks, as in there's more and more tokens that hit the market. And that depresses the price if the demand doesn't grow as quickly. And that's usually the case. Have a look at this jump over here, right, in July of 2024. This is really where Ethereum outperformed Fetch AI massively. Ethereum doesn't have all those unlocks. Ethereum's supply increase is very, very modest, but it's not modest for most altcoins. And that's where we see the outperformance of Ethereum relative to Fetch AI. This here is an outperformance of 177%. Have a look at this. I like to trash on this altcoin all the time here publicly on YouTube. This is Balancer. This is the supply of Balancer tokens over time. The Balancer DeFi protocol started with 20 million worth of tokens, and now the liquidity mining expands that supply further and further. And now we are at roughly 70 million BAL tokens. And here's Ethereum relative to Balancer. So it's just outperforming all the time. Or in other words, Balancer is doing worse. And this is how we make the performance. Balancer has no usage at all. The total value locked in Ethereum is going down. The number of tokens is going up. And so, of course, we see constant underperformance. And that's what we can make become our profit. So this again, Ethereum relative to Balancer. This blue line over here, that's the Ethereum price itself. So that's how much of a difference this makes, right? Ethereum crashes and rallies and crashes again and rallies again. Or you just get constant outperformance with those relative valuation bets. Or have a look at this at the bottom. This is the Bitcoin price during the same time. Again, Bitcoin can crash by more than 70%. And our position here just continues rising. The alpha in crypto is to simply do the same thing that the insiders are doing. The insiders are dumping on retail by having more and more token allocation. And we simply just have to make similar kinds of moves. When they are depressing the price and they make money with their price depression, we simply do the same. We are not insiders, as in we don't really know what's going on with the project, but we do know that the project will have more and more tokens over time. And those tokens will be selling pressure. Now, unfortunately, the capital pool has already closed for deposits until end of the year. There will be a new capital pool starting in 2026, but for now, we are just trading with the capital that's currently available, that has already been deposited. But there's still a way to make the same kind of performance, because I still share every single trade that I make for the community pool. I still share that in a dedicated channel. And I want to share the two recent trades. For example, here I closed the Filecoin short after an underperformance of 8% in just 9 days. So we short over here, the price is going down. And then over here, we've got another one, Trump relative to Solana. It underperformed by 23% within 3 weeks. I'm closing those shorts after they get close to the lower end of the trading range. And then I look for the next entry opportunity once we are higher again. The background of those shorts is of course again token inflation. Just have a look at Tokenomics.ai, see what Filecoin and Trump have listed as their tokenomics. But yeah, you can simply just copy trade whatever I'm trading. So here are a few wins of community members that post their gains here as well. Now I understand the doubts. Just because I've been successful with this strategy doesn't necessarily mean that everybody that makes similar trades will also be successful. But I want to make this as simple as possible, and I also want to make this as risk-free as possible. So here's my offer for the first quick win. You simply join Premium and watch 2 videos that are 1 hour in total in length. You're watching this one over here, using perpetual futures on Hyperliquid to bet on relative valuations. And you watch this one over here, very important, risk management with relative valuation bets. Once you've watched those 2 videos, you know exactly how to set up trades like this or trades like this, so that you don't continue losing money with roller coasters like this. Once you've watched those 2 videos, then please join the community chats. When you've joined the chats, I will get an alert message that you have joined Premium, and I will send you a direct message with my current favorite trade. A trade very similar to Balancer. Now Balancer's token supply is getting close to its maximum cap, so it's not necessarily the best trade anymore. But it's a very similar trade that's still early in its infancy. It's likely going to perform very similar to this trade. Now I will share my favorite trade with you, but also I will put a little guarantee to this. When you join this trade and you're not making money after 1 month of holding this position, then I will refund the membership fee to you 100%, no questions asked. So you can simply join Premium, join this trade. If you don't make money with it, again, you just get this money back. It's pretty much risk-free. You learn everything. You learn how to make all of those relative valuation trades. You can binge watch all the tutorials. You can just copy trade whatever I trade. If this initial trade that I'm sharing with you won't make money, you get that all for free. You're just risking the 125 US dollars, but if you're not successful, you get the money back. Now the capital pool has already closed, but there will be a new pool at the beginning of next year. And if you want to be notified first before that second pool closes as well, then feel free to join the annual membership. You can start with monthly and then switch to annual later. You do not get access to the automated copy trading with the annual membership right now, but you will get a first invite as an annual member in January of 2026. A link to Premium will pop up directly on the screen. Just click on that. It will lead you to the website. If it's your very first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish these regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube, or see you in Premium. Cheers.